Hey, everybody. Today we're going to talk about flaxseed. I'm sure you've heard about this superstar many years ago in the early 80s, 90s. But I'm here to convince you. I'm going to tell you why you need to consume this product. It's a food based product. Why it's so important, why I've started using this heavily with Claudine in her early 40s, and the tremendous amount of benefits. So, one thing for sure I do know is that there's products that are kind of hit and miss. Flaxseed is definitely not one of them. So, really gained a lot of popularity because there was a study, actually one study, it's not a whole lot, there's many other studies, but this one was comparing the effect of flaxseed, ground flaxseed, to hormone replacement therapy, to moderate case. And what it concluded at the end of the study, it was as effective without the side effect of taking hormone replacement therapy for hot flash, vaginal dryness, estrogen levels, fatigue, and mood change. And I know her hands on because I do saliva tests, I do blood tests, and I do urine tests. And we've done those tests also with Claudine. And no if or but, you could see a significant impact. Significant. And that's huge on your mood and how you feel. But I think a lot of people are now talking about this. We're always pinpointing your estrogen level, your progesterone level, your endocrine output. But also the correlations of cardiovascular disease goes up, and same thing with cancer. Flaxseed, especially many of the compounds that do it, and also the omega 3s, even though it's a vegetarian source, are excellent in reducing those risk factors. So let's look a little bit deeper. How much and how should we use it? Well, ground flaxseed, it needs to be ground flaxseed only. If you're buying the flaxseed, make sure you ground it up. The studies, and most of them, the gold standard is based on 40 grams. A teaspoon just won't do it. You might have some benefits, but if you're looking at reducing your hot flash, your mood swings, your energy level, and so many other benefits, you need 40 grams. And that's 3.5 tablespoons per day. So for us, I used to dump that in our smoothies all the time. We still take it off and on. It's a really great product. In yogurt, many of my clients in the past would mix that in your yogurt, mix it overnight. There's all kinds of ways. But we forget, I remember back in the early 90s when flaxseed was getting popular. We didn't really knew why it was so popular, but it was the food to buy back in those days. But I used to recommend my clients, even back then, we're talking about almost 30 years ago, to put in their mayonnaise, make sandwich, and you'd be surprised at the texture. Now, don't overdo it. Don't put a tablespoon of mayonnaise and 3.5 tablespoons of flaxseed. But if you put one in one, you'd be surprised on the flavor. And I haven't done this in a while, but I remember doing my sandwich with the mustard and flaxseed, and it was delicious. Breakfast, you can have that in your breakfast, whether you have a mixed breakfast or oatmeal, however you have your breakfast, put some on. But the best way to really use this for benefits is in your smoothie. Now, I also like the smoothies because I also understand that when I was creating those smoothies with Claudine, there's many other nutrients, and I'm sure you've seen some of my segments. We've done tons of them on smoothies and also flaxseed. But I always make sure I get lots of vitamin C, and these are our berries, because vitamin C also helps with your progesterone. But at the same time, when you have lignin and vitamin C combined together, it's amazing the benefits you will get out of this. So when you're looking at flaxseed, it's the lignin to it. It has phytoestrogen, which has mimicking effect, depending on who you're talking to, similar to help or restore or mimic estrogen. So it's a plant lignin. 40% decrease in number of hot flash experienced in a week. We've seen many studies on this, and I'll show you some right after when we're done as promised. But it's pretty amazing when you can reduce up to 44% just by using ground flaxseed. Many women also will report, but it makes common sense to have a better quality of life. And I think that it just makes sense because A, you're sleeping better. B, you're more in tune with yourself. You're not afraid of, listen, I'm going to be doing some public speaking, or I have to do a presentation, or I'm public, and all of a sudden I'm going to have these super hot flash. And as a matter of fact, I think the biggest impact on mood is because you're sleeping better. So I think it has its place, and it has its place to stay, and especially during the stage. Uh, and also, the studies over and over have shown because soy has good and bad rap. I'm not a big fan of soy product. I'll disclose this. But if it's organic soy, I don't have any issues with this. But as far as the phytoestrogens and the impact compared to soy, flaxseed, the lignin, is far better. And has shown this over and over on many studies. So grinding them is a must. You must make sure that you're buying them; they're grounded. It's always best absorbed because when they're the flaxseed as a whole, you're not going to be able to absorb the lignin. That's what you're looking for. It's always best to be stored in the fridge, and some put them in a deep freeze. But if you're going to buy flaxseed, you should use it in less than 6 weeks. So you buy these little bags, and here in our stores, when we get them, we're going to get them tomorrow. As a matter of fact, 2 days later, they're gone. We just can't keep them because the client's been using it, have adopted this part of their lifestyle. It's a great product, and they use it within 30 days. It's best not to cook with it, and I'm just not a fan of cooking it. Why? Because it might become rancid. Sometimes we overcook, overheat. And I'm not saying that you're not going to get the benefits, but in my experience, I always make sure it's in its raw form, uncooked, in smoothies. But if you're going to make a muffin recipe, if you're going to make other healthy recipes, you will still get some benefits, but you won't get the utmost benefits when it's really cooked. And again, don't forget, flaxseed contains about 35% lignin. That's what we're talking about today. Not just the flaxseed, but lignin, which is a phytoestrogen, has very good effect on peri and during menopause stage, and many other benefits too. And if you're going to have or consume flaxseed oil, we've been there in the 90s. It was disgusting. You put flaxseed oil because we were told it was healthy, and it was really not a whole lot of health benefits in flaxseed oil except the omega-3 fats, because they basically take everything out of it, and you had an oil that didn't taste good. I mean, very few people I know would say, oh my God, I love the taste of flaxseed oil. You're far better off consuming olive oil. So go with the ground flaxseed and learn to incorporate it into your lifestyle. I cannot say enough of this. These are the studies I'm talking about today, and that there's a huge pool of studies out there on flaxseed. Flaxseed has been studied as early as in the 40s, 50s, 60s. There's been a fair amount of research in the 60s, and in the 80s, there was tons of research. We still have validated science on flaxseed benefits, and I think it's something that should become part of your daily routine and adopt it for the rest of your life, because prior to stage, whether you're PMSing, you're heavy bleeding, or you're just growing up as an adult, there's tremendous benefits of taking it. And as you're aging gracefully, you have tremendous benefits. So it's something that definitely should be part of your cocktail of food and seeds and nuts to enhance your quality of life. But during this stage right now, it's something you should be consuming every day. And remember, the optimal dosage, a gold standard, is based on 40 grams of flaxseed grounded per day. Thanks for following. I'm Bruce Sweeney, founder of Simply for Life.